speak of. So anyway, done with that nonsense. Lastly, we're going to look at the Kawhi watch, with the Los Angeles Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. Los Angeles Clippers were teetering. They were the #1 team in the West for about a couple hours per se, and kind of lost a little bit. Had a very thrilling victory against the Golden State Warriors. But the troubling piece that we always going to come down to is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi the Claw Leonard, As much as it's nice to watch the Clippers play, you don't really care as much if one of the best players who just signed a 3-year extension isn't playing. Now, the alarming piece is that he had some residual pain from going crazy the game prior to. In that game, he had 2 huge dunks, showing his mightiness, showing his authority, showing his power. But then he kind of had some soreness, and he sat out the game against the Golden State Warriors. He played in the All-Star game, played the All-Star week, so it's not a very big deal. But to me, it is a very big deal. And this is why it's a very big deal. We've done this year in, year out, where we kind of know that Kawhi Leonard has experienced some severe surgeries. And I know a lot of people may not have experienced what surgery feels like and kind of just see it like, oh, you should be out there. But he's trying to deal with his body and keep his body in order and in shape. So he's sending out a game or two to preserve himself. But sometimes he's not going to be able to do that. When the playoffs come, rest days come few and far between. You may be able to go on sweeps and get those rest days, but probably not going to happen, all right? Probably not going to happen. So really, for Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers, they have to keep him healthy, and that's why they're sitting him out these games. But when the playoff intensity picks up, you got to win 16 games. You're going to play upmost of 30, 40 plus games. You're going to play a lot of games, and you're not going to get that much rest. You're going to be traveling. The schedule's going to be hectic. It's going to be stressful. For a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who has been experiencing, issues with his knee and tendonitis and his hip, this is not going to be best for him, right? He'll do well with a day or two of rest, but having to go a game, 1 day rest, go a game, 1 day rest, and hit that high intensity where instead of him going for a block, he's going and letting the defender score, or going for that dunk instead of a layup, those plays change trajectories of games. So Kawhi Leonard needs to be healthy. Now, I spoke on the hip issue that he had, and again, you can go ahead and review the previous video about what's wrong with Kawhi Leonard and what needs to go on with the Clippers. But Kawhi Leonard is an individual, as I say again, he will benefit from neurological interventions. Now, you guys are looking like, what's a neurological intervention? Some things are done with exercise and rehabilitation where your muscles can get stronger. But if you understand that your nervous system controls literally everything you do, from blinking, right? If you understand blinks occur based off your neurological system. It's kicking in automatically, or you can try to keep your eyes open as long as you can. But at some point, your body is going to overtake you. It's going to shut it down. It's going to force you to blink. That's the nervous system. We got to let our egos go and understand the nervous system is bigger than us. It's bigger than us. So Kawhi's nervous system is something that needs to be addressed on top of the things that he's doing. Now, looking at the nervous system, one of the techniques that are very important, that are very good, is a technique that I specialize in. I've been doing for quite some time. It took me some time to master, but it's a technique called Square One, originally called Reset. Sean Sherman, the developer, he had an opportunity this past week to showcase his talent and educate the Houston Texans. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal to some, but that's a big deal to me. I've been talking about Square One for a very long time. I've been talking about neurological interventions for a very long time. In fact, in 2021, I sent the email to the Clippers organization letting them know Kawhi Leonard will benefit from something. I would love to have a Zoom call with them. And to no avail, they never returned a call. Maybe, I don't know why, but literally a week later, Kawhi tears his ACL on a very routine play. Again, I've been watching this. This is not new to me. I'm not waking up saying, this is important. I've been following Kawhi Leonard for a very long time. So when I tell you that Kawhi will benefit from neurological interventions, that even the Houston Texans will even say that they're taking so seriously that they're bringing the founder of it into to take care of their whole staff and educate them. That way they can take care of their players. Now imagine C.J. Stroud at the age of 22. Imagine how good he's going to be now that he has neurological interventions with his staff members to help take care of him. He's a younger individual where square one may not be a big deal for him as he is now. But as he gets older and recovery becomes, compensations build up, like when you get in your 30s, that's when that technique is going to be very, very helpful for him. Patrick Mahomes, again, very talented. The body's going to start slowing down. It's similar to Tom Brady. And neurological interventions is that one thing that's going to give you that edge. As I go back and focus with Kawhi Leonard has meniscus issue, ACL injury, and he did a really good job of strengthening, rehabbing. Like, the man looks like a monster. But the important piece you need to understand is when you get older, your recovery is very, very difficult. Kawhi Leonard can play a regular season up to the age of 40 the way he is, right? But we're not talking about that. Again, I talk to you. There's a difference between making it to the championship and being a champion. This is what's going to separate champions for the long haul, for many years to come. And I'm letting you know this. This is not new. I've been talking about this for a very long time. This is what's going to separate champions from those who made it to the championship. Because Kawhi Leonard, as good as he is, he's one injury away from the Clippers being a what-if story again. And he's already showing you these pieces of residual issues from his hip pain. For me, watching Kawhi Leonard, it's not in terms of him being weak. It's not in terms of him being incapable. It's in terms of his body is compensating neurologically. You know, stop thinking of what you can. It's not something you can see. It's compensating neurologically, where it's influencing pain, right? He's having pain. Now, when you watch the game before he started talking about him having pain, Kawhi Leonard had 2 monstrous dunks. Think about that. Not a lot of people were seeing Kawhi do this. Kawhi started unleashing, you know. Anthony Edwards might have been chirping at him, going back and forth. But Kawhi Leonard was letting a statement be known that I'm still a bad man. But you can see what was the result. What was the result of that? What is the recovery to that? What's happening to Kawhi after that is, right? Game 1 last year, Phoenix Suns versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi Leonard by far was the best player on that court. But then what happened? What happened in game 2? Kawhi Leonard couldn't play as good as he did the first game. His body was unable to recover the same. He ended up eventually sitting out the next couple games. That's because that intensity of that game has increased so much so that his body is compensating, and he's not prepared for that because he's still dealing with neurological compensations deriving from his ACL injury, meniscus injury, and so forth. In addition to age, you know, we're very selfish with egos when we're young and feel like I can go ahead and do that. If I was Kawhi Leonard, I could do that. But you need to understand how injuries work. When injuries happen, it puts a governor on your body. Where you were going 130 miles per hour, now you're going 110, and then 100, and then 90, and then 80, and then you slowly start to see this triculation come. That's the piece that I want you all to understand. So Kawhi Leonard is a very good basketball player. He's an MVP candidate this year. First team all defensive player this year. But to become an NBA MVP and become a champion, he will need neurological interventions to get him over that hump. We've seen this time and time again. You'll be insane to believe that what you're doing is going to work differently. Now, by the grace of God, it'll happen based off his teammates being able to pick up that load. But if you got to have Kawhi Leonard going up against KD, I know he's not going to play low. He's going to play to the max he can. How does his body respond to that? Will he have to sit out a game or 2 again? Then what happens to the series, right? Then you got to go up against a young Timberwolves team, maybe in the following rounds. You see these different components? I don't want a Brock Purdy. I want a Patrick Mahomes. And in doing that, you need to prepare now so when the situation comes, you're already ready. Not oh, what do we do now? And so that's my piece. So to whoever's listening, if you know somebody that knows somebody, I would love to educate you all even more. You can check out the TreasureTreeTherapy.com website. You can check us out on Instagram. And you can also check out Squirrel One. You know, they do some amazing things. I'm happy to have learned from Sean Sherman. I know he's doing his thing. He's moving forward. But, you know, I would love to have more talks and discussion. That way I can help benefit, you know, organizations on a professional level. I'm really trying to work with the LA Dodgers, trying to get some talkings and going in that organization. Work very closely with the strength and conditioning coach. It just takes time for these things, but it also takes someone to step up and, you know, understand that there's something bigger than themselves. So again, Los Angeles Clippers, this is 4 years later, you know, or 3 years later, reaching out again, saying that you all would benefit from neurological interventions on top of the great things that you have done. So that's the piece I want to say. And then if you even look at Klay Thompson, you know, I watched Klay Thompson. I spoke on him as well. You know, Klay Thompson's a very good shooter, like one of the best shooters. It's not in terms of his work ability, it's in terms of him understanding his body. He has a new body now. He had an Achilles injury and he had an ACL injury. And we're still doing the same things we were doing, or maybe even a little differently like we did in the past. Klay Thompson needs to improve his calf strength, his calf bulk, improve his glutes, and also he will benefit from neurological interventions. And you can bet against me, but it's not advised, because if you watch year in and year out, you always look up like, dang, what happened? What's going on? And I'm letting you know the answer. So you can take my words with a grain of salt or not, but at the end of the day, my goal for Treasure Tree Therapy is to help athletes do their best. We want athletes to be on the field. I don't want what ifs. I don't like seeing athletes who work hard from middle school, high school, college, workouts, where they get on one of the biggest stages and their body shuts down because they're unaware of the neurological interventions that could benefit them. So that's my PSA. I would love for you all to like, share, subscribe to the channel. I don't really know what all we got as I look at my last couple notes. Yeah, that's it. Oh, the last piece I do want to talk about, and this is upsetting. George Kittle's 2 catches in the Super Bowl. That can't happen. Maybe coaching, I don't know, but that's unacceptable. And I just feel bad for that man, or I just feel bad for that happening. Like, unacceptable. Sorry if you lost a lot of money on FanDuel. Might be a good deal to not bet, but if you want to bet, that's one thing you should not do. You should not bet against Patrick the GOAT Mahomes. But that's all I got for today. We'll probably be back in the next couple of weeks. We do have some Treasure Tree Therapy trail mix. It's available. We do drop-offs in Chicago. $13 for 1 bag. We also do 2 for $21. So you can check that out. It's pretty tasty, not filled with cashews or peanuts. Very good for your gut health and very tasty. Like, it's going like crack. Like, these are the reviews right here. Like I'm not making it up, but the people are spoken. The podcast is a little long, but it's long overdue. I do appreciate those who have supported me in the past. Take care of yourself. Looking forward to March. It's going to be a great year. Take care of yourself, and yeah, Treasure Tree Therapy, planting seeds today for future generation success.